Hello and welcome to the Dale Dialogue. This is Pallavi Jha. I'm the Managing Director of Dale Carnegie India. In the Dale Dialogue, we bring to you experts from the field of HR in conversation with them to understand what's on their mind, what are they looking forward to, what are they dealing with. And so today we have with us Musharrat Hussain, the Head of Leadership and HR Transformation at the auto major Maruti Suzuki. Musharrat, welcome to the Dale Dialogue.
Yeah, very good afternoon.
Lovely to have you here. And let me just start with the I'm sure you ask this very often. Auto sales are seen as bellwether for the Indian economy or any economy for that matter. And we know that even before the pandemic, there has been a bit of a slowdown in the auto sector, in the auto sales buying, and it's just got worse with the pandemic. So do you see a revival and in what shape would that revival really take?
Overall, not a very good scenario for the automotive industry. And now that economy is reviving, first quarter, as you know, most of the companies have declared loss, including Maruti. And now, second quarter, we are hopeful and the sales are picking up in the sense that some pent-up demand was there. And of course, with this new social distancing norm, we are seeing a new type of sales being seen now, where people are shying away from using metros or public transport and are now going for small cars and all. So that's the scenario.
Okay. So in the midst of all this, when you're dealing with so much of a slowdown and underutilization possibly, how do you keep the morale of the people up?
See, we have our hands full actually, during this time uh, for us and for the automotive industry. The thing is that we are doing couple of things. Let me first tell you that for the morale of the people, see, they have their hands full. And as far as manufacturing is concerned, the manufacturing has ramped up. The activities are going on. We prepared work from home policies. We had infrastructure and system provided to people, and we created an app. And these are 4 apps actually: one for regular employees, one for our outsourced contractual and dealers and vendor companies. These are direct connect with the employees, and moreover, the top management, the leadership is in continuous connect with the employees. So it's a chain actually. So we want each and every employee, including outsourced contractual, connected to us in a way that what's happening, and we know in this pandemic, including their health status and where they are, and in what kind of contact they are coming in. So all those are in a digitally tracked. So these are the things which is keeping our people well connected and also motivated, because in this time people are more concerned about their wellness. A lot of anxieties are there, so those have been addressed and taken care of. Yeah,
Do you
precisely.
see because you had leadership transformation, what do you think was the real test of leadership and which skills really came to fore during this time?
See, a couple of skills which came to the fore is that, we being a Japanese company, we do a lot of micromanagement, and, we have a lot of standard operating processes, and we go into very minute details. So if you look at our company, where we used to have business review meet, say, every week, and monthly review meet every month by MD, our managing director, in fact, started doing from day one. It was like a daily review what's happening, because understanding about our employees, our business, our value chain is very critical, and to have a real time information was important. So leadership actually was able to display these kind of competencies, like connected leadership, and of course the digital dexterity that we are talking about, because in today's time, uh, uh, being digital, scalable, this was very, very important. So our leadership displayed these kind of uh, competencies at this moment. Apart from that, they have, pragmatic orientation where how you act fast on certain things which is required. So it's not that we are only planning and doing everything. The turnaround time was very, very fast. And in fact, because of, our leadership, the kind of bandwidth we have, Government of India also approached us during March to help us manufacture ventilators, masks, and protective equipments. In fact, when even manufacturing stopped, our leadership development capability building peaked actually, and we moved from traditional kind of teaching to an online mode very, very fast. And this all happened because of the kind of digital dexterity that our management showed, and we were quick to take decision, and nothing stopped. Actually, everything worked flawless, and this is all happened because of the kind of speed, agility that our leadership showed at this crucial time.
Fantastic. So I heard digital dexterity, which we've been hearing about a lot. That today your digital competence, in a sense, would really determine your future success. And you talked about connectedness, and you also talked about agility, the speed of response. And what sounded very interesting and fresh to me was this term, connected leadership. Could you elaborate that a little bit more?
See, connected is that, we talk about connected cars. You must have heard about, EVs and connected cars. Connected, when I am saying, is that when people are working at home, how you empower your people. You are not seeing them. You have to have productivity. You need to have faith. You have to be accessible. So connected leadership is all about accessibility, empowering team, keenness for result, and how you still not being in physical presence, you are still connected, communicated, and you know the pulse of people.
So this is very interesting insight. I was going to ask you about the fact that how did the Japanese style of management, which books and books have been written about, is how did that actually help you in your organization manage this better, or did it come in the way?
They go into detail. And they go into very minute detail. In fact, they are quality conscious. Quality is their foremost, and quality doesn't mean quality in product, quality in services, quality in the kind of practices you have, quality in the competencies of people. So everything they talk about quality. So Japanese are famous for that.
Right.
So you can imagine the kind of precision that they have in everything you do. It's mind-boggling actually, and that is the reason. That is the reason that with Japanese collaboration for Maruti, when it started as a public sector and today being 100% Suzuki company, that legacy remains, and that is the reason that if Maruti is successful and having more than 50% market share from decades, this is only because of these practices, which is keeping us miles away from the competition.
Right. Tell me, in terms of, you mentioned that in the early days you also moved to online learning and leadership development and things like that. So what, according to you, were the big advantages or the opportunities that virtual learning is actually placing today?
Yeah, it's a very interesting scenario. Let me tell you that we always believed in blended learning, and in our kind of setup, we have 4 distinct schools in our training academy. So we have leadership and behavioral school, we have a technical school, we have a vocational school, and we have an overseas training school. Look at the kind of training we have. We have classroom, we have labs, we have simulation, we have online learning, we have video, we have lot of online courses, and so on and so forth. See, in last 7-8 years, we have been building our own content. So we have almost a content of 700 hours at the moment, and we have several hours of video content, we have simulation, and so on and so forth. Now what happened is that initially these were on our server and you could use it on our systems. Then later on we created an app called eGurukul, and through the app people were assigned courses and all. which was basically 8 to 10% of usage with these kind of content. Suddenly in the lockdown, when people were sitting at home, and when 10,000 people started using e-Gurukul, we faced a lot of problem. So suddenly we found that the traction, the usage in the digital learning or the online learning content that we have became so high that we found that uh, the usage almost was like almost 60-70% now touching and using those, which is a very high number. And in terms of learning digitally, of course, the man days reduced, but in terms of unique numbers, actually it increased, because in a classroom we could teach 25 people, but on a webinar or a training, we could connect 600 people or even 1,000 people at one go.
But there would be a whole transformation that's on the anvil for, like it is for most industries. So what are some of the reskilling requirements you are
See,
seeing?
I'll tell you a couple of things. Let me tell you. As far as when you talked about sale, we are already into digital marketing for last almost 4 years. We have been working a lot. In fact, we have virtual showrooms and all that we have created. And in fact, in this pandemic, almost 60-70% of the bookings have actually happened online. But when you talk about reskilling and the new skill that you are talking about, as you know, automotive, in fact, are the smartest in terms of manufacturing. And Maruti, the first robot was installed in 1985. Today, we are a highly automated plant, and where people and robot, they co-work. I mean, jointly they work on manufacturing the car. And because of the high level of automation, high degree of robotics that we use, we are able to roll out a car every 12 seconds. And now electric vehicles are coming in. So the expertise on electrical vehicle maintenance and different kind of weldings and different kind of technical areas. So a lot of reskilling is required, and that is where our technical training centers and center of excellence are doing a phenomenal job in terms of preparing talent for the future. Not only that, Maruti has gone a step ahead. We have in fact adopted ITIs. We have partnered with polytechnics, where, and we are even running ITI courses in the vocational school that I talked about, where we train people while they are studying only, because that is the skill that is required. So that is a kind of a training we do, which is earn while you learn. So they do. Maruti, we believe in building talent rather than buying talent. In fact, we are happy to say that we are actually happy hunting ground for the entire automotive industry. In fact, the entire majority of the automotive sector are led by ex-Marutians. So we are happy. We are happy. I don't shy away from saying that we are like Unilever to the industry of auto industry. So I'm happy about that, because that is the kind of talent we are building in, and we have a huge talent pipeline. So it becomes really critical for us that the kind of, if we are not hiring at mid-level or senior level or critical level, then how we are building our talent. And that is where lies our USP in the kind of capability building that we do in our organization.
Of business advice, we've typically assumed in our country that the MSME sector does not spend on its people so much, not so HR savvy. What would be your advice to them that in a time like this, would the key differentiator be getting a loan or getting the right people?
We not only focused on technology, but on people. And to help our partner companies, way back, Maruti started a separate training company called MACE, Maruti Center for Excellence. And Maruti Center for Excellence basically is something which is a joint venture between Maruti and the partner companies. And they work exclusively with tier 2 and tier 3 companies, help them create a better shop floor, better practices. They do audit, HR audits, and that happens. Apart that, if the quality of people are not right, quality of product will never be right. So focusing on the right, getting the right kind of people. This particular book, How to Win Friend and Influence People, I read as a teenager.
Right.
And
Yes.
this book really impacted me that time, because I was a little introvert and shy, and I remember reading this book as a teenager, and had a very good impact on me. In fact, this is one of the earliest book I remember which I read. And so a couple of things, like for example, in our day-to-day work, we become critical of people or work. So one of the key thing is that, instead of criticizing anyone, rather we should have empathy and we should encourage people. So today we have seen that there are many bosses or many leaders who have been critical or extra critical, have never been successful because they have not been able to create a very good team under them. You have to be, always keep smiling. That is
Yes.
something which actually works in the
Right.
worst of the scenario, when you are smiling, and you're not frowning actually.
Right.
Nobody likes a frowning boss.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That is one. Then giving honest feedback, and that is something. Feedback is the order of the day today. And today the kind of employees you have are highly literate, and they are of a different level than when you used to talk about theory X or theory Y. These
Right.
people are smart, and
Yeah.
you have to handle them differently. In fact, in Maruti we have 4 generation of people working, and
That's diversity. Yes.
how you handle the baby boomers, or how you handle the generation X or Y, whatever it is.
Right.
You can't handle Gen Z like that. Their aspiration and demands are totally different, so you have
Yeah.
to be sincere and give them honest appreciation, and they are hungry for something new. So some of the other thing that I remember from this is that you have to look at the interest of people. When I talked about variability, so you have to look at people, that what they are actually interested in, and people will actually only grow and contribute if you actually meet their interest or do something which is of interest to them, rather than pushing them into something which is of not at all interest, because then uh, you have to make people feel important. In fact, today even the peon or people who are serving you tea, uh, you have to respect them. You have to make them feel important, and that's how the pride of the organization comes. And that is what, thankfully, in Maruti we have been able to develop. And these principle, even without saying it is from Dale Carnegie, these principles are actually inbuilt, and this flows from the top. It's the DNA. In fact, the kind of values that we have created, or core values that we have created, these are inherent. And 10 years I have completed in this month only. And
I
I
see.
don't know how 10 years have passed, because kind of DNA that we have built in is all because of these kind of small values and virtues, uh, which are very effective and powerful. Small but very
Absolutely.
powerful, let me tell you.
Absolutely.
And there are
Absolutely. And
many
you
more.
rightly mentioned.
I can go on and on, but these are.
I am really delighted because I asked you for one, you gave me five, and you gave such beautiful examples of how they actually work for us in real life, in everyday work. And apart from everything, you touched upon the culture at Maruti, and organization cultures is something that we all aspire for, a great organization culture. And cultures are built through everyday interactions and behaviors by people between themselves. And if these principles are actually brought through, you get the culture you are looking for. You've just given us a success story that if you have a good culture and you have good interpersonal environment, you have a culture that people don't want to leave, and that's really again the holy grail. Everybody wants to minimize their attrition. You are all actually living examples.
Without cost, these simple principles are helping. I'm not spending money to actually hold people.
Right, right. This is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. And it just gives us all so much of an encouragement at Dale Carnegie to know that these kind of principles are valued and are being practiced in different organizations. whether it's something that you've built as your own value system or as Dale Carnegie principle. So thank you so much. It was lovely being in conversation with you, very enriching.
Thanks talking to all of you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.